Hello and welcome to the Community Proud podcast. This is episode 3, and I'm Abraham Jacobs, your audio producer. And before you wonder where Dustin Allen is, he couldn't be here because he is on a business trip in LA. So I will be doing the intros and outros for possibly the next 3 episodes, but don't worry, he's still in this podcast. In this podcast, we got to sit down with Kendel Rodriguez, and we had an amazing time. So much information was just spoken, and it's a beautiful, lively podcast, my favorite so far, and I really hope you guys enjoy it. Of course, follow Kendel on Instagram at iKendel, and you can follow the Community Proud Podcast on Facebook and Instagram at Community Proud Podcast. You can follow your host, Dustin Allen, at dallen99, and your audio producer at _abe.jacobs. Thank you, and I hope you enjoy this podcast.
Welcome, everybody. Man, this is going to be a really good podcast. I mean, I've had the pleasure of talking to this guy over social media, but now it's actually the first time we've met each other in real life.
IRL.
IRL,
Yeah.
as the hip ones say these days. And so far, we've been already having like a great conversation.
Yeah.
And we just appreciate you taking the time out of your busy schedule to meet with us. So just like everybody, I'm just gonna take you a little bit through your backstory a little bit, and then I'll ask you a little bit more after that. So let's just start from the very beginning. Where are you from?
You want the legit, like my story real quick?
Yeah, very beginning.
All right, I'll try and keep it quick, but I think it's super important, especially, and may this be a lesson for you guys, like too. Like your story in the beginning, and what I mean when I say in the beginning, that could be the first year, it could be the first 10 years. It depends on when you kind of start to pop, right? But people are gonna need to know kind of, like you said, your backstory, your genesis, where you come from, what you're about, because they need to know your story. And your story can't just be like what you do now. Like, oh, I own a digital marketing agency, I have 2 kids, that kind of thing. They kind of need to know the whole thing, and they need to know it over and over and over, just because like it's really hard to put it into words, but it helps frame up who you are when they're not watching you. So I'll give you the quick. I think it's kind of convenient that we're talking about this right now because like behind me is my backstory. You know what I mean? Like this is my life right here on the wall. All the pictures that I like possess that were worth kind of printing, anything from like before I was ever born, my grandparents, to my sister who used to work here, to some really cool people that I met, who recognize me off the fucking beanie that I wear every day, right? So anyway, but like my backstory is, it's super simple, and my backstory is essentially my testimony. So man, I come from broken family. My parents were never together, never married. I guess they didn't think that was a good idea, or they thought it was a great idea, I don't know. And at one point they split up. My dad, he ended up going into corporate America, having a great job, a great life, remarried pretty quickly, had another kid. His wife now, they've been married, 25, 30 years or whatever. She had a couple kids. So my family's huge, healthy, everything's good to go on that side. My mom's side's super chaotic, man. Couldn't really without bashing my mom, couldn't really keep a solid job, couldn't really keep a solid boyfriend or whatever you want to call that. Just a lot of brokenness, and so I, like a lot of people, I came out of this situation where I could decide, do I want to kind of fall into that and let that become who I am too, or do I want to kind of rise above it? There's that age-old story, and I always tell this when I tell my background story. There's the age-old story of 2 kids, they're identical twins. They both had a father who was an alcoholic, and he ended up, he wrote hot checks, he got in fights around town, he was a bad dad, he drank himself to death, and the kids grew up, and they went out into the world, and some people went looking for him, and they're like, dude, so it's us, they came and found you, and they're like, found you in a bar, found you drinking, or they found me, let's just say that. They found me, I'm out in the world, I'm doing fucking bomb, I'm doing great, and then they found you, and they're FaceTiming like, man, we got to put these guys together. And they find you at the bar, and they're like, hey, what are you doing here? And you're like, I'm an alcoholic, I'm a drunk. They're like, why is that? And you're like, well, that's all I know, my father. They find me doing amazing, doing great things. They ask me, what are you doing here? Why are you like this? And I'm like, well, I saw my father drink his life away. I don't drink, I don't do that. So it's like, really, to be honest, man, it's what are you going to do with your story? So I decided that I was gonna do a mixture of the two, man. I got into trouble. I flirted with that lifestyle of just being on the fringes of doing bad. Never anything that was gonna get me like I could never come back from, but definitely flirting with that. But then ultimately, man, I met my girlfriend within a year and a half, maybe close to 2 years of being with her. We got pregnant, or rather she got pregnant. I was making, I don't know, $8 an hour working retail, getting 31 hours a week. Sure you can relate. I got this baby on the way. I'm like, what the fuck am I doing with my life? And I met this guy, and this guy had this restaurant, and he was an amazing guy. His restaurant was amazing. Everything was amazing, but they weren't busy, and they weren't really popping. And long story short with that is, I got a chance to be a part of this guy's business, and I got a chance to help him grow tremendously. And through that, he helped me grow tremendously, both as a man, as a person, in my faith, in my walk with the Lord. I was lost, man. I was blaming everybody. I was, you know, I had this dream that when I was a kid, that when I grew up, I was going to be famous, that I was going to be hilarious, that I was going to be Jim Carrey. That's what I always thought, man, I'm going to be fucking Jim Carrey. I'm funny like him. I kind of look like him. But I just thought that what people do is they knock on your door and then they go, hey, here you go. You're the new Jim Carrey.
Right.
And that's not how it works. You got to go through that door, and you got to go out there and be fucking funny and be Jim Carrey to become Jim Carrey.
Yeah.
So what I learned from this guy is, this mentor of mine, is that no one was just gonna like hand me anything. They're gonna hand me opportunities. Of course, people will hand you opportunities. This is an opportunity for me. This is an opportunity for you. Like, opportunities will be there, but nobody's going to like grab your hands and make you work. So that's kind of what I learned from him. And then kind of on the tail end of going through all that, I got the chance to marry my girlfriend, make her my wife, have another kid, maybe not in that order, and kind of just start to put my life together in a sense of like, what do I want to do? What do I want to do for my family? What do I want to do for the next 10 years, right? Because that was the first 10 years. And so now what we're doing with this next 10 years is we have a digital marketing agency, and everybody has one now. Everybody's social media marketing. But what ours is kind of founded on is just like kind of the idea that every person, every brand, every business is made up of two things. A brand, meaning like the fonts, the colors, the logos, the characters, Mickey Mouse, right? All that shit. But then mixed with the people, like the Walt Disney, the guy who scans the tickets, the guy who cleans up the trash. So it's the people and the brand. And we just really want to highlight those via social media. And the reason why we choose social media, number one, is because we have the physical ability, but we didn't have the tangible, like tomorrow ability to just go make a fucking newspaper or go make billboards or like broker that. Social media was very native to us because of our age, where we come from. It was just natural. So it wasn't that it was a smarter idea per se at first. It was just one that was working. You know, in my own restaurant, I started making these little signs that said like, come here for lunch or try the new burger. You know, I wasn't thinking about like I was a marketer. I wasn't thinking like, oh, I'm this business guru guy or whatever. I just thought I was trying to sell a hamburger. I was just trying to tell people about the dinner menu. So then what ended up happening was I started posting on our Facebook. You know what I mean? And just trying to get people that way. And then ultimately what happens is people start asking like, oh, who's running the Facebook? It's kind of funny, or it's kind of cute. It kind of represents us, who we were as a restaurant, who we were as a company. And so that was like, oh, it's me, you know, it's Michael running around taking photos with his phone, you know. It was just us just kind of messing around, you know. But then I think the unlock was when I realized that I started getting a bonus at work, meaning the more profit that we made, the more I got paid. That never happened to me in all my years of working. So I started trying to come up with ways of how could I increase the business's income so that I could make more, because I needed money at the time. You know what I mean? I had things I wanted to do. I had things that I wanted to buy, like all people, right? And so what started as kind of a selfish thing for the business and for myself became, I got to see firsthand of throwing $200 of my own money into Facebook ads could make us $1,000 or $2,000 more a month, which would ultimately make me more money on my bonus. So it was like it was like a machine. I put $200 in, I get maybe an extra $400 out, or an extra $250 or an extra whatever. but it was like, it made sense to me of like, if I can just increase the amount of people eating here, we can make more money because we have the system, we have the great employees with the great menu, but we need more people. So it just made sense of like, man, if I could just get more people in here, get more sales, I could get my cut. And then it's just kind of, I started thinking like, well, what if I just did that kind of for myself, if that makes sense? So instead of making my restaurant more money and then my bonus gets bigger, why don't I find a way to make myself more money? Just cut the middleman out, if you will. And that's kind of what I've been doing in the sense of just building my personal brand and like having my own podcast and things like that. But I will say the main thing is that middleman kind of always exists because now we have clients and they are that middleman. You get what I mean? But I think the biggest thing has changed. What's the biggest thing that has changed is just like really trying to find brands out there that we resonate with, that we want to work with, that we like, that we believe in, because it gets super hard. You know, it's easy when it's your business because you know everything about it. You're like, oh, I know the employees, I know, I know where the tongs are, I know where the soap is, I know this place. So you see it through like rosy glasses. It's nice to you. Or for some people, it's crappier because it's theirs. Right? And so like, oh, it's just not much. And people are walking in like, this is nice. So it goes either way. But what I'm saying is it's yours. So you just like, you market so well because you believe in it. So as you start to get clients, like say you guys start a coffee company, it's going to be harder for me to market because I'm not completely bought in because it might taste bad or I don't like that you guys make it in your garage. Or you get what I mean? Like, so there's different things there with this concept of marketing and branding. And the original thing I said was, we're really trying to tell the story of the brand, which is the colors, the logos, the feeling, the vibe, and the people, which is like the employees, the owner, the guy who started it, if that makes sense. So kind of that's my story. Just like in a nutshell, I had this brokenness that I kind of came from. I had a choice to make. Like, do I want to go deeper into that? Because a lot of the friends I had growing up did sell drugs, did do this and that. And like I said, I always just was on the fringe of that. I was involved with certain things, but nothing that I couldn't like walk away from. But a lot of my friends were in too deep and you get addicted or you go down this way that you see them 5 or 10 or 20 years later and they're still in the same boat, right? You're like, dude, Todd or whoever, you're like, you're still doing that? Like, right?
Yeah.
So that was kind of my thing is, and I will say this, the reason why I really wanted to go in on my story is so many people are ashamed of their story.
Yeah.
You know, so many people are ashamed that I didn't go to the good high school, or I didn't get the good grades, or I didn't have the cool car, or I didn't have the cool girlfriend, or I didn't get laid, or whatever it was. And I always love the fact that how we worry in the moment about all that, it always plays out to where no one cares. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
I think back of how you were telling that client that was here right before these guys, you were telling them, Michael, about how you went to that continuation school or whatever. I went to the same school. Like, and it's just funny because at the time, people were like, where'd you graduate from? And I was like, oh, Tulare Union. Because I didn't want to tell anybody I went to tech prep. But it's like, it doesn't matter.
No one cares.
Nobody cares. But at the time, it's all I could think of is like my friends would ask me like, oh, whatever happened to you? Like, oh, I graduated like with you guys. I made up some whole fucking story of I got my shit in the mail. And it was just because the truth is like I went to tech prep. You know what I mean? And so I think that's kind of the main thing is like, it's like nobody cares about like the way you do. Nobody sees it as negative as you. But as far as your story, oh, everybody cares. Like I'm interested in your guys' story and where you guys come from. Like everyone cares about your story, but they just don't care from your angle of like I said, you think it's messy and no one notices. Or you think it's clean and everyone thinks it's messy. No one sees it from your angle. So yeah, that's my main thing.
Okay.
So what are some of the questions that you normally ask on something like this?
So a lot of the questions were just like kind of simple questions, honestly, and you answered a lot of them now.
Okay, but go ahead.
I just want to ask, how did you get out of that mindset of like, oh, everybody cares to, oh, you know what, fuck it, nobody cares. How did you get like out of, was it like
time helped me a lot, but then I had the perspective of realizing because you got to think, life is really just all of us holding a camera. Okay, like literally we have 2 cameras right here, and this is the way the movie is being filmed. Not a lot of movies are filmed that way. If you watch movies, it's filmed third person. Someone invisible is holding the camera. God's holding the camera.
Yeah.
In this movie we're all holding the camera. That's kind of weird, right?
Yeah.
So I had the benefit of seeing the movie of their life through my camera.
Yeah.
And I was like, wait, all the dumb shit that they do, yeah, I think of it sometimes like, oh, you pooped yourself or whatever at a party. Like, that makes me laugh, but it doesn't matter.
Yeah.
But on the flip side, the fact that they had money and their dad had a dairy and I thought that that set them ahead, they're fucking working at Victoria's Secret right now. Like, who's the fucking joke on? Like, you know what I mean? But not that there's anything, not that there's anything wrong with working at Victoria's Secret, but I'm saying the story I had in my head of, oh, they have the upper hand, their dad owns a dairy, I'm screwed, but like it ends up being like not a big deal. Nobody. So the answer to the question is, I ended up learning that shifting from it matters to who cares just off of time, but then seeing it like with them, like it didn't matter to me. Like you have no idea. There's this girl that I was totally in love with in high school. And I use high school because like that is the time. That's the time when a lot of this is formed.
Yeah.
Of like our opinions, and just out of high school as well. But we're still dealing with the same people and the same demons. But there's this girl that during high school and even a little bit after, I just thought she was so great, so hot, so amazing, so all of those positive things. And what ended up happening was I didn't see her for a long time, and she came into my restaurant to eat. And like, no offense, but like she was just kind of looked washed up, and you talk to her and like, what are you doing? She's like, she named some random job that, you know, she doesn't want. And you think to yourself, like, it's not that she wasn't special or pretty or whatever, but like it's in your head, bro. All this stuff is in your head.
Yeah.
I know that because like I love Michael and I love his girlfriend. She's great, but I wouldn't want to date her. And he loves my wife and he thinks she's probably somewhat great, I'm hoping. But he doesn't want to be with her. What is that? It's in our, it's like I love cinnamon and you don't. It's like, it's just our taste, bro. So I got over that by just realizing that like, it's all angles, bro. And I just see my way and they see their way. And like, I'm not looking at them right now. So they don't matter. They just don't, it doesn't matter. So that's kind of how I made that. Yeah. What else?
Another question is going back to where said you were like flirting with that other life.
Yeah.
How did you learn from that and how did you grow from that as well?
Flirting with like doing bad shit?
Yeah.
Oh, okay. You got to think the lowest hanging fruit of bad things that you'll do, things like stealing, whether it's from a store, whether it's money, or whether it's like you guys leave here with one of my items in your pocket. That's stealing, right?
Yeah.
Drug use, right? It could be just weed, it could be coke, it could be whatever, right? And then usually you have like selling and things like that, right? So those are the three main things I could think of besides like vandalizing, which is another one that kids. So you got to think I got in enough of trouble with that where it's kind of like I got caught in almost all those areas. And I think for some people getting caught does one of two things. For some people it solidifies you and puts a stamp on you and you just go, well, that's what I am. Like, this is what it is now. It's on my record. I'm a thief. I'm a stoner. I'm a whatever. So I'm going to be me. Or for some people, I think it's like a wake-up call of like, is this like really? I got caught stealing beef jerky and DVDs from Walmart. Is that like how I want to go out? You know what I mean? So I think for me, what caused the shift was just realizing like, it's got, dude, the way I put it, I think of it so much. Think of like guys who are in college football, and they're about to pop, they're about to go NFL.
Yeah.
And everyone in their life is like, don't screw this up.
Yep.
Don't go to a party. Don't be caught with the wrong people, right?
Yeah.
And it's like, imagine you're in the car with some dudes who went on some jacked up ride and did some jacked up things, and you're about to be in the NFL draft, and you know you're getting assigned. You just don't know where.
Yeah.
Like, imagine that night you get a close encounter with the police, right? Like, you're gonna walk a little tighter after that. That's what I'm saying. I think the shift for me came. I had a couple of brushes on my slaps on the wrist, and I realized like, dude, like, is this how I want to go down? And then secondly, I learned that I have talents, and speaking obviously is one of them. But like my ability to express my feelings, that's separate. That I have that, and then I do have the ability, I think, to kind of shift how other people feel. So it could be a fucking cop or it could be my wife.
Yeah.
I do think that I have those three abilities. And so I kind of started thinking like, do I really want to just like being a criminal is really, or doing negative is like making pennies. Doing negative is like having an entry-level job. It's low-hanging fruit. Doing good, doing amazing is like being a millionaire. It's like being a business owner. It's like winning the lottery. It just takes longer. So I think I decided that I'd rather do good and that I'd rather make the big bucks in life being good versus taking the easy route and picking pennies up off the floor, I guess, you know?
Okay. What do you suggest to someone that's going through that right now, that aren't in the best of ways right now?
Dude, nobody is in the best of ways. Because I think about it as I'm telling you, oh, how I avoided this and how I'd stop doing this or that. I'm thinking about like, my back of my mind is thinking like, you're so full of it. Like you got some other bad, like there's bad shit is always in line to mess up your life. It's always in line. You get rid of one problem, one addiction, one issue, next in line, you're never out of the clear.
Yeah.
So what I say to anyone is like the same thing I say to someone that's addicted to heroin, or the same person that's addicted to porn, or the same person that can't stop stealing their boss's pen off his desk. Like it's the same thing. It's like you have to like realize that self-control comes from the story that we tell ourselves of what's okay and what's not. So for example, like we'll tell ourselves like it's fine, like nobody's watching. Yeah. It's fine, I'm not hurting anybody. It's fine to make a couple extra bucks. Like our ability to have self-control is purely dependent on the story that our mind tells us of what's okay and what's not. So what I would tell somebody is you have to really get in the mindset of like you gotta fix like character is what we do when nobody's watching and when everybody's watching. People think good character means like no one's watching, will I take that $10? No, character is also, it's the syncing up of how you are in front of 4 people and no people. It's not, oh, you didn't take the $10, no one was watching. It's like how in sync are you? If you're alone and you're with people, does the footage look the same? So I would tell people like get that in check, you know, and that's what I'm doing for the rest of my life. That guy's doing for the rest of his life, and you guys are gonna do. Like it's no different for everybody. I would say get your character in check and like what kind of person are you when no one's watching and what kind of person are you when everyone's watching, and try and get them in sync. That doesn't mean that you can't enjoy a dirty joke or you can't like, even like racist jokes and stuff. Come on, we have to like laugh at each other and ourselves. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
It doesn't mean you can't do those things. I totally believe you can do those things, but it does mean that you have to start like checking like what is it that you want to do with your life, and just realizing that there's always going to be someone that's going to come out and say like, hey, that guy was mean to me, or that guy tried to, I don't know, hurt my kid or do something sexual. Like that's why all that this stuff's coming out. So I just think that I would say to somebody that it's kind of like they're debating right now, how do I make that shift, or what should I do, or how do I get out of that negative mindset? It's like you really have to see no other way. And I think a lot of the reason why people don't make good changes in their life is because they feel like they have no reason to. Like, why would I do better if my mom and dad are gonna let me live in this room forever?
Yeah.
And on Christmas I get a TV, and like every Christmas or birthday, like I'll get something cool or new that makes me more comfortable. Like, what reason do I have? A girl, like I'll meet a girl, I'll get a girl pregnant, I'll just move her in, right? Like, so like I think for me the biggest unlock in trying not to do as bad in life is I had more things counting me. I had 2 kids, I had a wife, I had this business, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
I had my brother, I had people that I felt, maybe they weren't, but I felt like they were counting on me. I felt like, man, too many people are like counting on me tomorrow to like wake up and do my clock, you know, literally clock into my job. Like, you know what I mean? So yeah, my biggest story is like going downtown, this drinking downtown, and I knew I shouldn't have. I was with my employees, and one of my employees, some guy was talking to me and said something to me. I said something back to him. I don't know why I said something back to him. And before I could even like get punched, one of my employees came and just knocked the guy out and started fighting him. Another one of my employees tried to help. Those guys ended up getting arrested. You know what I did? And this is a story like I would have no problem saying to their face, like, and they know what I did. I ran. I literally got away from the situation and went right back to my restaurant, because that's where I was staying at the time, in my office. And like, I thought to myself, like, all I thought of my way back, I said, I can't get in trouble. I have this restaurant, I have this brand, I have this business. I literally have to open the door in the morning. I can't spend the night in jail. I can't spend the morning in jail. I can't spend a day in jail. And that was kind of my wake up, is like, I can't even afford to spend 8 hours in jail. Because in my head, I'm like 8 hours away from that place. Something's not getting done, you know, because so much was dependent on me. It was my fault. But you know what I mean, man?
Yeah.
So that's why I'm saying not a lot of people feel that weight, that pressure, that pull of responsibility on them. Like, I can't mess this up because my kid's got to eat or something.
Yeah.
They just feel like, well, what's the worst that's going to happen? Which is, I love that whole concept of I have nothing to lose. But when you take it too far, it's like you never take a risk. You never try and do anything good with your life. So, yeah. That's my answer.
Yeah, and like you said, a lot of it just has to do with like integrity. What are you doing when nobody's looking? So I want to ask next, going back to where you said you got in that situation with some of your employees.
Yep, man.
So how do you? There's a lot of people out there that are like, okay, I can't get my bros in trouble, or I can't get in trouble, that sort of thing. I'm not gonna snitch, or I'm not. And avoid doing like the right thing, not necessarily saying snitching's always the right thing to do, but how do you manage, or how do you get through just like, okay, just do the right thing, just always do the right thing. It's gonna hurt now, but eventually.
I don't have a track record of always doing the right thing. I'll say that. Because you gotta think, man, lying and doing the wrong thing is quick and it's easy and it always costs less up front. You know, it's like a credit card. If I give you a $5,000 credit card, you could go run that shit up so quick. But if I give you $500, you would like stop and think about, how am I gonna spend this money? What I mean by that, dude, is like when we lie, it's like running up a tab. Eventually you're gonna have to pay it back. And if you know anything about credit cards or loans, you always have to pay back a little extra, a little interest. So you bought a car for 20 G's, with all your interest, all your payments, it's 24,000. That's how lies work. When you end up paying the total bill, it's 24,000, not the 20 that you slid your card for. When you tell the truth, it's cash value. Cash, something says it's 20 bucks, and you tell the truth, it's 20 bucks. So I would say, for me, what the unlock has been on doing the right thing is, it's like, do I want to pay the price now, or do I want to pay it later? And I'm faced with that every single day. Like literally with a bill, with a real bill, or with doing the right thing. I have to decide, do I want to lie or be shady? And I'm going to have to pay back more later, in a sense, because I'm going to have to pay things back with interest. I'm going to have to tell the truth, and now I'm going to have to suffer the consequences of lying or doing the wrong thing. Or do I just want to be real now and just have what happens happen? You know, if you walked in to your house right now, like let's just say you hated your parents and you just couldn't stand them. You could either keep the lie up, and eventually you're gonna blow up on them, dude. You're gonna be like, you know what? I can't stand you guys. You're this and you're that. And they're, what? It's gonna be this whole talk.
Yeah.
Or if you went home tonight, you're like, look, I'm gonna be real with you guys. Like, I've just been having this feeling. I just can't be in this house. I can't be around you guys, whatever. They're gonna deal with it. It's gonna hurt, but it's gonna get dealt with. But if for the next 10 years you let it fester, eventually you're gonna blow up on these people, and you're gonna cause more damage, because then maybe your brothers and sisters like, no, F you know what I mean? Like, and then you lose your brother and sisters over it, and they kick you out, and like, whereas with the original idea of just telling the truth off the get, like, they might respect you more. So I think for me, the unlock has been, you know what I would say? Having people around you that will help you make the right decision. I always say the one thing I love about having my brother around me at all times is he's the perfect balance of, he's gonna help me dig the hole to put the body in, but he's gonna be the first one to be like, yeah, you need to go to the police station now, let's go. Like, it's both, bro. You need someone that's like, all right, let me help you clean this up, but you also need someone as you're cleaning the last little bit up to go, all right, you ready to like get in trouble now? Because I'm gonna make sure that you do the right thing.
Yeah, of course.
So that, I would say that's kind of the answer to that.
Oh, man, that's good stuff, man. So now I just want to ask, like, going into like your thing, your expertise, what you do for a living. Someone like myself, like this podcast, or someone outside of here, like, I don't know, they got a little makeup business, they got a photography business. How do we grow? Like, how do we?
It's simple, bro. It's, you know, I could tell you literally, I could lay out all the tips, all the tricks, you know, get photos, make dope videos. I could give you all that, but I could give it to you even quicker. It's the one thing that even big brands are not doing. You know, I follow, or I saw an ad for HBO. You know HBO, the channel?
Yeah.
Game of Thrones, huge. They had an ad and they posted a question in their ad. The question was, if you could, I don't know, something about one of their shows, like if you could have us do something with the show, what would it be? And there was 1,000 comments. You know how many responses there were? 0. There's 0. So the number one thing to do if you want to grow your photography business, your podcast, you need to engage people. There's a lot of fake engagement going on right now. What's your favorite style of living room? You know, neutral colors or pink? And then, you know what I mean? That's not engagement. That's you asking, you know what I mean? That's like saying, what do I look cuter in? That's not engagement. That's assuming that people care about your question.
Right.
Engagement means going to your photo and being like, dude, your sister's getting almost as tall as you. Engagement means, dude, is that really your dad's new ride? That's dope. Engagement means congratulations on passing the state boards or whatever. Like, engagement means speaking to people, not just coming up with cute ideas like, oh, for our community podcast, we should make a post that says like, who should we interview next? That's not engagement. That's you thinking someone gives a crap about your podcast. Engagement would be you on the Community Proud podcast, Instagram, all day, every day. Someone's in charge of, it's like hot potato. Someone's in charge of DMing, commenting, liking, following people all day, every day. And that's how I built, everyone's like, you know, I'm not saying 7,000 followers is a lot, but everyone's like, oh man, you have 7,000 followers. How'd you do that? It's like hand-to-hand combat, bro. Like I fought every one of those people hand-to-hand. Like I literally rolled up on people. I didn't care if they were Mexican, if they were black. I didn't care if they were women. I didn't care if they were business owners. That's not what I cared about. I was like, you know what, man? I want to see if I can engage people. And I have people that, it's like, dude, it's like clockwork. And I don't mean this in like a negative or like bragging way. It's just literal, like, if you want to grow, it's like, I'll comment a couple times. I'll like a few things. At first, I can already see like, who's this guy? Who's this random guy liking my stuff? Why did he follow me? He's like, oh, he's probably one of those people trying to get followers. I'm like, I'm not, bro. Watch. Because I'm going to keep commenting. I'm going to keep keeping up on you. I'm going to be like, oh, you switched it up. You got the blue ones, not the red ones, right? Eventually, that little heart at the bottom of my Instagram, it has some numbers, and I look, and it's like, D. Allen started following you. Boom! That's all I wanted, because now it's mutual. But it doesn't stop there. I don't go, okay, you followed, cool, I'm going to unfollow you now. That's not how it works. So we continue to engage.
That's some crap when people do that.
So what I do to engage is I create a list for myself to engage. And that's what I think people need to do. You need to create a list for yourself. How do you create a list? Get on your Instagram right now. You're a florist, you're a makeup artist, you're whatever, this podcast. Start following people that you would like to engage with. Now, when you hit that little home button on your Instagram, all those posts, those are the people you want to engage with. Spend all day engaging on those posts. So make that list for yourself. I follow 5,000 people, I think right now, 4,500 people, and they're all getting engaged with at some point. When I have a moment, it'll be probably roughly 2 hours. I did it today. Saturdays and Sundays, it's all every moment that I can do. You know what I mean? And you see people like Homeboy right here on his phone right now, and I look like one of those people. I'm like, oh, he's surfing Facebook. Oh, he's reading the no, bitch, I'm fucking engaging. That's what I'm doing. I'm telling someone, hey, congratulations on your daughter's first day of school. I'm telling somebody that's a dope Mustang. I'm telling people, oh, that's so cool. I need a haircut. I'm talking to people, and it's not, I won't lie, sometimes, you know, I forget faces and names, so it's a lot, but
7,000 people is a lot.
But I'm not doing it, I promise, I'm not doing it like in vain. Like, I'm just trying to get followers, because at the end of the day, I mean, that would be pretty lame, and I don't think it would be a strong enough foundation. So just what I've tried to do is I just try to keep up on people, and I just try and keep my list of people to contact. And so I do that through following, and I do that by DMing. Because once I DM you once, bro, you're in my DMs. So every month or every week or every year, I can go back through my DMs and DM one by one. Hey, bro, hope you're having a good Sunday. Hey, bro, hope you're having a good Wednesday. Hey, bro, like whatever it is, like whatever. It doesn't have to be like everybody thinks, hey, I hope you're having a great Sunday, subscribe to my podcast. It could just literally be, hey, I just hope you're having a great day. And people underestimate that shit. And think about this, bro. As long as you're not being like straight creepy, nobody's gonna be creeped out. They're gonna be like, dude, you gotta think, normal people don't get comments and likes.
Yeah.
So when they see D. Allen or Community Proud Podcast liking and commenting, they're gonna feel special. You know what I mean? Even I don't get that many comments. You know, today I got a few, but like, say on a regular, just a graphic where I'm spitting some knowledge, people are like, that's Kendel, he's doing his thing.
Yeah.
No one's commenting. But you best believe when I get that comment, that one comment, I'm fired up. I'm like, fuck yeah, thank you so much. Imagine regular people. Imagine a guy that saved up to get his Corvette, and then finally he got in, he takes a picture with it, and you're like, that's a dope Corvette. You don't think that guy's like, yeah, it is. Like, thanks, bro. Like, and then you do it again, and you do it again. And then he's like, dude, I like this D. Allen kid. Next thing you know, he looks up your bio, and he's like, oh, you film, or you clean cars, or whatever. Do you want to clean my Camaro? Do you want, like, you want to clean my Corvette? Next thing you know, you have one new client for your business. So I've gotten all of my clients 100% through either word of mouth or Instagram, or a mixture of the two, because it's the same thing. So that's how you grow. You engage. Like, everything else is just a tactic. The photos, the videos, even the things that we sell to our clients is a tactic. The number one thing we recommend is that they engage, or they pay us to engage. It's extra, but we need to be engaging. So I think we've treated these platforms as a place to dump our content. Hey, look at my podcast. Hey, check out this new pair of shoes I got. And we're not engaging. It's a two-way street. And so I would say engage. That's how I do it.
How important is not only to engage with people, but how important do you think bringing actual value to them is?
Well, hopefully when you're engaging, you are bringing value. So you can't knock everybody out with your first punch. You can't, throw a right hook all the time. So you can't bring value. Like, I think of value as education, entertainment, or getting them to experience something. So education, right? Here's how you engrave their ring. That's cool. I'm gonna teach you about that. Entertainment. While I teach you how to do this, let me like be funny or interesting, or fuck, I'll just be entertaining. Or maybe you're hot, because that's entertaining, right? You're pretty. Experience. When I think of experience, I think of like someone's story, like where they come from, or I think of like a sick kid, or like, I know it sounds crazy, but I just think of anything that like off the top of my head makes me go, experience. So it's really hard, like in a comment, to just give one of those three things. You can, but I would say over time, you're gonna be able to bring value. What I say, bro, is use your comments to bring little bits of value, but don't get too caught up in it. Let your profile be value. So like, have in your profile what you do. I'm a real estate agent. I'm 34 years old. I have 3 kids. I'm a Christian. Whatever it is you're about. I love the Seattle Supersonics or something. And then your content can be so valuable and awesome. So that when you say, hey, what's up? Hope you have a great day. And then they come and see it. That's where they get the value. You don't have to try and complete the transaction in one post or in one text. Like, hey, check out my page, or hey, here's a tip for you, or hey, are you buying or selling? You know what I mean? I think a lot of people try and do that. They try and say, are you in the market? Are you trying to buy a car? It's like, bro, a guy asked me today, hey, do you want to join my team? He said, can I ask you a random question? And then I said, sure. I already knew what it was. And he goes, hey, I've been following you for a while, XYZ. I was wanting to know if you want to join my financial some team. And I wrote back, bro, like, why don't you romance the girl? Like, tell her she's pretty before you try and get her in bed. And he's like, excuse me? And I was like, how many times have we talked before this? He's like, never. I'm like, so what makes you think I want to join your team? So that's what I'm saying. Like, use your comments to like bring them in, to like reel them in, and then let them see the content, let them see the page. I even changed the name on my Instagram to Kendel Wants to Be Your Friend, because I know that I'm randomly following all these people. Like, who's this guy? Like, my last name's not important, Rodriguez. So I'm putting in there, like, I'm trying to be your friend. You know what I mean? So that's kind of, I would say that's how you bring value. It's through your content. You know, your comments don't have to sit there and bring all this value.
Awesome. What do you suggest for the young person, or just any person? We already talked about marketing a business and how you do the online marketing and things like that. Now, like, I guess even more on the technical side, how do they, I guess...
Like, start something?
Yeah, just start something.
Easy. Dude, number 1, Google's your friend. Number 2, stop trying to get rich. It amazes me how many people are thinking, oh, I'm gonna be a thousandaire, a millionaire, a billionaire. It's like, look at it realistically. Like a minimum wage job for 8 hours a day, what's that really gonna pay you? If minimum wage is $10 and you work 8 hours a day, which is good hours, that's $80. And that's
taxes.
and then you're gonna get taxed. So let's just call it $60. You're gonna make $60 and then you're gonna probably spend half of that on something in the moment, hot Cheetos, right? Coffee, $5 coffee, something you don't need. So now you're down to like $40 a day you're really making. So it's like, set your expectations of, I only need to make $40 a day. That doesn't sound too hard now once you do that. And then when you realize you don't gotta make the $40 every day, you can make $80 every 2 days. So one day you can make no money and the next day you can make 80 and no money. Or we can even go further. I can just make $1,000. Like, I just think a lot of people don't realize how much they really make. Like, your parents don't make as much money as you think they do. Everyone thinks, oh, my parents must make like 100 grand a year. Like, your parents don't. Like, I hate to break it to you. Your parents make 40, 50, 60, $70,000 a year. It's just what the math says. Now, you might have special parents who own a business or a dairy, or just they've worked their way up and they're making some buku bucks. But you know what I mean? Everybody has this opinion or this vision that their parents are making hundreds of $1,000s and that they got to do better than that. So they got to make millions. And it's like, they're not thinking, I just got to make $40 a day. So what would I do? I do exactly what I did. I would do a mixture of trying to make sure the little things are done and in place, but at the same time, not worrying too much about them. So for example, make sure that you file with the city of California or the state of California. Make sure you get a business license, all that stuff. Like, make sure you do that. But at the same time, and I'm going to be real, I can't give financial or legal advice. Yeah. But let me just say, at the same time, don't be afraid to like run quick and try and get clients, just like figure it out later kind of thing. So that's what I would say. I would say, dude, to just literally start, like, pick an industry and I would tell you how to start. Haircuts, oh my gosh. You could haircut today without school. Like, figure it out. Like, you know what I mean? Yeah. It's gonna be like tattooing. How many people do we know walking around with crappy tattoos because their friend was just starting out? That's the price of entry. So there's gonna be some people walking around with some bad haircuts. But like, someone's gotta be first. Like I said about the club thing, someone's gotta be first. You could just pick any industry and I'm gonna tell you, hey, you just need to get started. And at night or in the morning, you can worry about filing your LLC or making your Instagram. But the first thing you need to do is you need to get good, and you need to get good quick. And the only way to get good at something that I know of is not by reading about it. Don't get me wrong, YouTube videos and reading, it has its place. But doing is the ultimate, like, wow. Yeah. Like, you have no idea.
Doing and then failing and then learning.
But just doing, I could leave the failing and the succeeding and all that amazing stuff out. Just doing, there's nothing like doing. Like, I could read all day about welding, but I watched Michael weld like last month or 2 months ago for the first time. He never welded. And was it like weird? Was it a sensation? Were you like tripping out a little bit? Like, I'm welding right now? And you've seen welding your whole life, right? You never knew, you know what I mean? But you did it and it was crazy. And now you're like, I could do that, like, I could get better. But from doing it, dude, we've seen people weld a million times at a restaurant, building the restaurant, and I didn't get better by, I could look up a YouTube or something, and I promise you, nothing prepares you for that moment. And I think of it a lot like shooting. Nothing prepares you for like actually having to aim, actually having to, when they say like, don't pull, squeeze or something, like nothing prepares you for that first time when you go, oh, shoot, okay, right? Yeah. That's how I see hair cutting, washing cars, doing the podcast. Nothing's gonna prepare you for that. Michael's saying, yeah, you look kind of ghastly with the lights or whatever. Yeah. Because you have to set the light up and see what you look like. There's no way around that. There's just, you can read, I read so much about lighting. We'll put one light here, one above, and I can read all day, but until you've actually just gotten the couch out and just done it, it's the doing, bro. So how would I start? I would get some of the stuff in order. So you're legit, your Instagram, start working on a little website, a name, but don't think too much into it because you'll be there all day. Like, what's a good name for my haircut business? Like, nobody cares. Nobody cares. Yeah, nobody cares. Yeah. Nobody cares. There's Edina's Car Place. There's Grow Petty. There's all these names. Like, nobody cares. Yeah. Nobody cares. So that's all I would say. You got to go so far deep into getting better but you also have to go so far deep into getting the little details right, and it's just gonna like be this ebb and a flow, and it's every day with me, bro. Every day I'm like, oh, I forgot to do something super important, and every day I'm like spending so much time on something that's not important to him or to a client, but it's so important to me, and vice versa. A client we're trying to get texted one of my employees and said, there's words on your website spelt wrong. I'm like, I don't care. Like that, I don't care, but some people care about that. Like, oh my gosh, you spelled something wrong. We're gonna look so dumb. I don't care. So, you know what I mean? It's both, but I went on and I fixed it because it's important, but it's not important. It's both, bro. So that's what I would say. I would say the most important thing is just balancing those two things. How to get technically started out. Google's your friend. Get as legit as you can, but you need to be doing. If you say that I'm a fucking haircut person and you haven't cut like 100 people's hair, you're not, you know what I mean? I'm not gonna take you serious. You need to do it. You need to be cutting hair. Like with the podcasting, keep doing it.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So that's how you do it, by doing it. I know it's simple, but people don't want to hear that. They're like, no, but what's the secret? Like, how do I make my podcast better? Like, I could tell you I bought a fucking $500 microphone. I got, you know what I mean? Yeah. I could tell you some of the behind the scenes things, but at the end of the day, like, that's not really how you make a podcast. How you make a podcast is the way you're doing here, the mics and the, right? So, yeah, there's two answers. How do I get started? And then how do I make it like pro level? But nobody should be worried about that out the gate unless they're trying to build the next Apple or something, of course. But if you're not trying to build the next Apple, you're just trying to make a living or become something, you know what I mean? Yeah. You should not be concerned with that. You should be like, I'm going to be a photographer. I'm going to start taking pictures with the camera I have now, my phone, or with my sister's camera, right? Yeah. But so many people are like, once I get that Sony, man, I'll be I'm going to be a fucking photographer. It's like, you're not a photographer. Because if you were, you would have the dopest phone photos that anybody's ever seen. They'd be like, how do you do that? And be like, just my phone. And they're like, wow. Yeah. You know what I mean? There's mechanics that can get it done with like 4 tools. Yeah. And then there's guys like, man, once I get my new shop, man, I'll be, get out of here. So.
And that was like how almost I was at first. I was like, oh man, I got to get a studio. And
I'm there too, bro. Yeah. Dude, I'm with you, bro. So I'm not saying I'm not. But like I said, there's a line between getting started and trying to get to the next level. Yeah. I wanted to get to the next level, so I was like, oh, I want to get the arms, I want to get the mixer, right? You know? Yeah. But getting started, oh, dude, my first so many episodes was my phone on a shelf in that little room that you guys closed. And I would go in that room, and it would get hot in there. It's hot right now. Yeah. Because I didn't want the air to make noise. I wanted it to be nice and calm. Yeah. And I would go in there, I'd spit my thing, and Michael's is in here on the computer, and I would spit my shit, and I'd be like, all right, peace out, guys. Hit stop, and go upload it, just like you guys do. You know? And every day, I had a daily podcast. Every day, I go in that closet. And then, you know, one day I was like, hey, it's so weird. I want to be a musician at one point. So I had all this recording equipment for music. I'm like, what if that would work for a podcast? Of course it would. Yeah. So now I have this professional kind of sounding podcast, and you start to look up like, what are some little tricks I can do with the voice? Like add a little bit of reverb, a little bit of, right? Like just a little bit, just to make it more like a radio, you know? And but that's just next level. That's not getting started. I started in the closet. But as you get going and you get passion for it, you want to start, hey, how about a jingle to begin with? How about, you know what I mean, some music at the end? How about now I'll just start asking at the end of every episode a separate clip of me like, hey, will you come review it? Are you right? But that's not to get started. That's just to get to the next level. So I will say we're the same, bro. We want to get better mics. We want to get better lighting. But you're still doing it. We're talking about on air. You're doing it. So you're already in the right spot. Yeah. But from here, you can only go up. Like I said, I better not see you guys next year with these lights. Unless that's the look you're going for. I mean.
Hell no.
But yeah.
Hell no.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So that's what I would say.
That's great, man. Oh my God. How did you just push yourself?
Tell Ashley yes on my phone. How did I push myself?
Just push yourself.
Dude.
Cutting all the bullshit out.
No, there's no, 9136. There should be no, should have been on my lock screen. There should be no, sorry, that just totally threw me off. Okay.
How did you just push yourself?
Okay, dude. It's simple. I mean, I'm just trying to like frame it up into words that like other than just like you just do it. It goes back to the responsibility thing, dude. If you think about it. How do you push yourself? Okay, number one, nobody can push themselves. That doesn't make sense. Like physically think about it. I can't push me. I have to push against something or a force needs to push me, right? Wouldn't you agree?
Yeah.
So I either need to get my back up against the wall, like AKA rock bottom, or I got bills coming up, or my wife's pregnant, or right? Like I need to get my back, or a force needs to come through, like wind, right? Like God, or some of those things that you get your back up against could become a force. You like run, it's like a scary dog you're running from. You're like, fuck, my bills are due, I get it, you know what I mean? So for me, that's what's been pushing me. Now, there are pockets that we all go through. It's called comfort. We all get comfortable. We all get those moments of like this morning, you look at my sleep, I use a sleep app. It tells me how long I slept, quality of my sleep. I slept for over 8 hours today. Even though my alarm went off at right about the 8 hours and 15-minute mark, I like sleep. I still slept over that. I was comfy. I didn't need it. But in life, we get this little like, it'll all work out. We'll be okay. Yeah. Hey, I'll just sleep a little longer. Hey, you know what? I'll just do that tomorrow. I'll just finish that deadline. You know what? I'll just tell these guys, come tomorrow. Yeah. You know, I've done enough today. My brain's fried. You know what? Just, you guys come tomorrow. We'll do the podcast tomorrow. You know what? I was thinking next week. Hey, and that's what we do. We just tell ourselves, like, but on the flip side, we also don't take care of ourselves. Like, I took a nap today. I needed that nap. I wouldn't have been able to do this if I didn't have it. I mean, I would have, right? Yeah. But you know what I mean?
Yeah.
But I think that's the thing. How I push myself is I don't push myself. I literally get myself in situations where I have no other choice. And there's just no other option. Yeah. If I do not entertain this lady that just came in today and said a bunch of stuff to me and Michael about a video we've worked way too many hours on, done way too much work on for not enough money. If I don't entertain her though, I might not have a shot at another video. She might not tell her friends she liked our work and we might not get any more work. And then 3, like you said, it might just not be I might not be doing the right thing. So it's like, when you have another choice, you have to deal with, it's like when you work at a minimum wage job, you don't have another choice, so you have to deal with the crappy customers, right? That's how I push myself. I just put myself in that mindset all day of like, even though I'm doing what I want to be doing, I'm doing what I love, I'm still having to deal with bullshit all day. But I let that bullshit be that's what pushes me. I just, without it, dude, I would probably like float off into space. That crap, that constant like things to do, people unhappy with me. As much as I vocally am like, I hate this sucks, I don't want it. Where are all the good clients at? I secretly like it because that's what pushes me to, you know what I mean? I'm that servant that, yes, I would like a thank you and appreciate your work, but I feed off of it's never good enough. Yeah. Because I want it, if it's never good enough, what are you gonna do? You're gonna get what?
Comfortable.
No. If it's never good enough, you're gonna get better.
Oh yeah.
He's gonna say, I don't like the sauce. And you're like, oh fuck, you don't like the sauce, I'll throw some basil in there, come back. Nah, it's still missing. And you just keep making the best sauce ever. And then it was always good enough, but it gets better. So I think that's kind of, I as much as I complain about it and I break down, bro. It's hard what we do dealing with the clients. They're never happy. They're never happy. You know what I mean? Yeah. But I use that to push me. I use that as my force. I use my family as my force. I use the fucking internet bill that gets 2 months behind as my force. I use whatever that month or that season's issue is. Because in our line of work, we'll have seasons of prosperity where we're fat and happy, and we have seasons of leanness where it's like, well, I don't have the AC off because of money, I promise that. But it's like, hey, turn the AC off. We don't have any money. Like, it's both, So I would say, yeah, that's my push. My factor that pushes me is that I have no other choice. Like, this is what I signed up for. Like, this is what I signed up for.
Yeah.
I could have done anything else. I remind myself that every day. And every time I hear somebody else complain, like if you guys start complaining right now, I'm gonna be like, you wanted to be here. Yeah. It's hot.
Yeah.
It's what you wanted. Like, or when it's cold in here and people are like, it's cold, like go outside. It's nice and warm out there. Yeah. Like, why are you complaining? Like, So I don't know. So my thing is venting is cool, complaining is not.
So it's like when people complain about shit they can't even control.
No, but that's the thing. We can control so much. We can control so much. It's just a lot of the things are we can control, like right then and there. I can go outside and be hot now, which is kind of sarcastic. But then we don't realize a lot of things are like 5 decisions down, which is like the same reason why I don't like complaining is the same reason why I don't like people that make fun of homeless people, because we're all like 2 or 3 or 4 or 5 decisions away from being in the same shoes.
Okay.
Like, you live with your parents?
No.
You live on your own?
With my brother.
Okay, you live just you and your brother?
And his family.
And his family?
Yeah.
Okay. How many decisions, how many dominoes do you think it would honestly take for you to be homeless?
Like 1.
Like 1?
Yeah.
For this guy, it might be 20. Like, it would, like, dad would have to die, and then grandpa, and like, there's always someone, right?
Yeah.
For Michael, it might be like half of 1. Like, he's already 1 foot out the door. You get what I mean? And so that's why I look at homeless people, and I used to be like, man, these guys are fucking, you know what I mean? And now I look at them and I almost cry because I'm like, dude, you know how close we all are? We don't think so. Let me tell you how quickly you can become homeless. You screw up your relationship at home, like with your spouse. You screw up your job. You lose support from like family or friends, anyone that could actually support you and let you sleep on their couch. So you become financially stressed. You have nowhere else to go. And then all it takes, man, and we see it, a lot of the homeless people in our area especially are on drugs or alcohol. All it takes is for you to get in with the wrong crowd, whether at work before you lose your job or after you lose your job. Yeah, I'll go out with you guys. And you try whiskey for the first time. You try cocaine for the first time. You try meth for the first time because you're just like, what, I mean, right? Next thing you know, 3 years later, that's what you're doing.
Yeah.
So like, that's 4 things. That's problems at home. That's problems with the support network that you have, your friends and family. That's problems with your income, your job. And that's problems with substance or whatever. But it can happen in any order is what I'm saying. There are people that go on work trips and come back all jacked up. There are people that go over and serve our country and come back and things start toppling down for them. And next thing you know, they're on the road, on the streets. You know what I mean? Yeah. And so what I'm saying is that's the same thing, the same way I feel about complaining. It's like, it's I don't know how to marry them together, but it's the same feeling I have. It's like we all can complain. There's something to complain about. It's too easy to complain. Yeah. You know what I mean? It's hot. I'm tired. Yeah. I didn't get to work out. I'm hungry. I haven't eaten since 1 o'clock or whatever. Like, there's so much to complain about, but then when you mix in what I'm talking about with like, I'm in control. I could have eaten. I could have left. I could have walked. I could have, right? There's so much that I could do. I'm in control. You know what I mean? Yeah. So I think the whole complaining about things you can't control, that's more of like a spiritual thing, like, you know, God's in control kind of thing. But it's also like we can't control other people thing. But a lot of our complaints have, when you really put it in the saucepan and boil it down, dude, it's us. Yeah. It's my decision. I chose this office. I chose to be here. I chose da-da-da. I chose him. I could have, you know what I mean? Yeah. Like, I can sit all day and be like, man, this guy, he just won't X, Y, Z. At the end of the day, I have to look in the mirror and be like, I put my eggs in his basket. You know? I made that decision. Yeah. You know? Yeah, it doesn't absolve people from responsibility. He has a job to do. But I can't ultimately like be like, he's the reason for my lack of success or, you know what I mean? My torment. Like you know what I mean? I could have easily told you, go sit there and make the video. Yeah. Right? So that's how I feel. I feel, yeah. I don't remember what the original question was, but.
No, that was good. So there's always like this certain question that I ask at the end of the pod. Okay. And it's always like similar, and it always goes back to where you're younger Kendel, and you just want to tell yourself something like, hey man, get your act right. What would you do to, I guess, that younger Kendel when he was flirting with that other life? What would you say to him?
You know, there's a really good answer to this question that I'm not going to say. And the good answer would be, you know, like every movie with time travel, essentially, fix everything. We learn in every movie, I mean, because that's what we have. We don't read scientific journals that there's no way to fix. There's nothing you can do because something's always going to be messed up, something else, right? Except for Avengers Endgame. That was different. Just let Ashley know that'll be a minute. So what I'm saying is, to be honest, I would just literally just let them know that I exist and that everything's cool and that, like, I don't know how to say it. Like, things are not like amazing in the sense of you're a millionaire, but by no means, man, are you in any trouble. You know, I would tell younger me, brush your fucking teeth more often, dude. That's what I would say. I would say brush your teeth more often and moisturize your face. I would stick with cosmetic stuff, nothing mental to me, because everything mental and emotional that I've gone through has been like part of this moment. You know what I mean? Like I couldn't have given this to you without every little thing that I've seen and everything I've been through up until today. Yeah. You know? So I would just tell him more of the cosmetic stuff, like, bro, like you need to, like, you have dandruff, you need to use dandruff shampoo, like you need to brush your teeth are gonna fall out of your mouth. Like dumb crap like that, you know, I have kids now. Really what you're asking me to do is what would you do differently with your kids? That's the version of what would you tell your younger self. I would support my kids in the things that they're good at. I would push them to try new things. But ultimately, dude, I just want them to take care of themselves physically, and I want them to just, like, know what love is. And for me, love is just, like, loving on people. Like, hey, what's up, man? Like, that's how I love, dude. Yeah. Because there's this invisible thing between you and I, and it's all kinds of stuff. It's, you know, obviously we don't know each other. We're dudes. What do you call it? Like professionalism, just all the things in between human beings. But like there's stuff in between us. So anytime you can break that barrier and be like, yeah, man, or like good job, or like a hug. Like I saw some guy that I don't even give a fuck about the other day. And I was like, he went to shake my hand. I was like, give me a hug now. It was just natural. And he was like, I could feel his face of like, he was just confused. Yeah. But when we stopped hugging, he was like happier. Because I just broke that barrier of like, we're not supposed to love like that. You were supposed to love like, hey, I heard you guys got married, congrats. Yeah. But I was just broken. I was like, bro, give me a hug. And that's not normal, I guess, in his world, you know? So I would just go back and just be like, tell myself, and same thing with my kids, like, you gotta get this love thing figured out. You know, you're not gonna do it right. You're not gonna do it perfect because you're not perfect, but you just need to figure out how to let people know you love them. And at the end of the day, like, they could do with that what they want. And that's what I would tell me. Like, just, hey, you know, that's one thing I would change, is I would just make sure that more people knew, you know, my true feelings, that I love them, that, you know, that I have this love. Because I get it to this day. People think I'm negative or narcissistic or whatever, and I'm sure I am those things. But like, dude, I'm trying every day to like to put more of my love out there, and people just can't believe it. They're like, nah, that's not you really. It's like, why would I type that? Why would I spend an hour faking, like, you know what I mean? Yeah. Not even Hitler did that. You know what I mean? Like nobody, like, I don't know. So that's what I would do. I would just focus more on that stuff. The cosmetic, definitely, ugh. And then the love, man, that's real.
All right, man.
That's that.
And just whatever you want to say now. Like I said, I'll give you the floor for a little bit. You want to plug any of your stuff, what you have coming up, anything like that?
I would say, dude, if there's, you know, man, I treat all of these things, I take everything seriously. So I take this very seriously. We got these office lamp looking things. This is pretty nuts. You guys have said, we're going to help you guys. Like, dude, trust me. And I didn't want to overstep any boundaries. You know, I didn't want to be like, oh, this sucks. Like, it's not about that. It's just like, I like some of the things you're doing. Like, I like the wireless mics. That's a cool idea.
Thank you.
But like, there's just a couple things that it wouldn't even really take much time, energy, or money to fix. You get what I mean? But anyway, you said I could have the floor. What would I do? Oh, I take things seriously. And what I mean by that is like, there's so many people out there that are so like, how much money am I making? It's numbers. How much money am I making? How many followers do I have? How many people are going to watch this? Is this worth my time? All these, time is a number. Like, is this worth my time? All you're asking is, was this worth the 30, 60, 100 minutes, right? Because I lost time, aka numbers. Like, all we care about is numbers, bro. Like, so anyway, I take this serious, and so I'm not worried about that stuff. What I'm worried about is, I don't know, I'm just really excited. I'm excited because, have you ever had a life change, like, Like, man, I'm trying to think of one. Like, you don't look like you've ever been overweight, so that would be one. But like, if when you're overweight and then you like get fit and you're like, man, I don't have enough photos of when I was overweight. You kind of actually want some because you want to show people like I used to be big, like really, or vice versa. Like if you're skinny and then you got buff, or if you're broke and then you got rich, like you actually weirdly wish you had more of that like that past stuff. That's what I'm most excited about. That's what I kind of want to put out here because I know it's forever. And that's what I want to put to anybody watching this. Like, you're not going to escape the weirdly lit video with the dude on the couch. Like, there's no way to escape it. Like, we all got to do that video.
Yeah.
Like, you know what I mean? I'm looking forward to this video in 1 year, 5 years, 10 years, 100 years, you know, because I do have aspirations and I do have things that I want to accomplish. And this is a part of that. You know what I mean? This is awesome. This is crazy.
Yeah.
Whether it's 4 people or 400 people or 4 million people, you know, well, that'll all be figured out later. But that's what I kind of want to close with is like, 1, I'm excited just to be doing this. I take this very seriously. But 2, if you're at a place where you don't want to do things because it's not worth your time, you need to reevaluate what you do with your day. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like, really think about it, you know, because when we went to Sequoia the other day, I'm not gonna lie, that was a long day, dude, and there was really nothing in it for me. You know what I mean? It was just like a long day. You know, I ended up like hurting myself like on this hike while I was just taking it while these guys were working. And I was like, for like 24 hours, I was fucked. But like, it wasn't wasting my time.
Yeah.
Like at all. I never thought this is a waste of my time. I think that's like the big thing that I want to leave with is like nothing is a waste of your time. The only thing that's a waste of your time is complaining. The only thing that's a waste of your time is being mean or negative, like things like that. I don't think I should have to say that. But nothing like, no experience is a waste of your time. Like I got to see this beautiful area of Sequoia. I hate the outdoors, man. I hate the outdoors. But when I'm there, I'm like, wow. I got to see that. I got to go to one of the highest peaks I could while these guys were out. I got to learn a little bit more about wedding photography, which is something that we're doing, right? Like there's little tidbits that you can take away. Most people would be lucky to get one thing to take away. I got like 100 things I could take away from that. I got tons of ideas, tons of experiences. But that's the thing, man. Everybody's like, this ain't worth my time. Everyone, you know, you're going to ask, do you want to be on my podcast? They might not respond to you, or they might think, oh, who's this scrappy kid? Like, not worth my time. And they're a fucking loser. I don't care if they have $1 million business or what they have. Like, that's loser talk. Like, nothing's not worth your time. So that's why I want to close with, like, nothing is not worth my time. Like, this was awesome. This was amazing. You guys rock. I'm so thankful that you guys, like, I'm not gonna lie, it feels really cool that you guys wanted me on your podcast. Like, that means a lot, you know? Because someone that has a podcast, like, you know, you try to be strategic. Like, who do we want to put on here? And, well, hopefully they say some good shit. Yeah, you know? So, it means a lot. Yeah, it means a lot.
Man, I mean, I've been following you for a while. Dude, I love your content, man.
Thank you.
It's like, man, I got to get him on the podcast. It wasn't just like, oh, maybe I'll have him on the podcast. No, I was like, I got to get this dude on the podcast.
Dude, a lot of people do what I do, and they don't have content. A lot of people do what I do, and they don't have content. Like, I got content, do I not? I got content. 4 times a day, 5 times a day, 20 times a day, I'm posting.
Clockwork.
I'm doing what I'm saying I'm doing for a living. I do that. Like, clients ask me, where's some work that you can see, like, we can see my work, me. Yeah. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
I'm the example, so just keep doing it, man. That's all I'm saying.
Oh,
just
man.
be the example. Don't be sitting there trying to give advice or like rub elbows with the community and you're not doing the thing. If your shit is called community proud, I better see you in the community more than just your podcast.
Hell yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
You better be like, oh, I love Quesadilla Gorilla, or I love downtown, or you know who doesn't get love is the Northwest, that little shopping center with Save Mart and all that. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like, don't just be in it for the gimmick. Oh, I'm a social media marketer. I'm a digital marketer. I'm an entrepreneur. I want to be Gary Vee. No, dude, like, do what you know what I mean? All the crap you're saying, I do that. I post every day, all day. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And so, yeah, rain or shine, I'm in it to win it. So that's what I'm saying. That's my advice to you.
Hell yeah, man.
So how do you send this out? What do you do?
What's your Instagram? Plug it.
Oh, at iKendel, IKENDEL on everything. On everything. Game Center, you want to game me, bro? Twitch, you want to fucking go down? Xbox Live, I don't know. I think I need to get that unlocked. But I'm saying I Kendel on everything. That's really, I think someone else took Kendel way back when on like Gmail.
Yeah.
And I was like, well, what do I do now? I didn't want Kendel R. And I was like, dude, I love Apple. I'm like, I'm iKendel for sure, bro.
Oh yeah.
And then that's the story of that. So iKendel on anything and everything that you could possibly imagine. And yeah, thanks for having me on, man.
Right, man.
I appreciate you. What's that? Give me a hug, man. Come on, get those microphones touching.
Oh yeah. All right, guys. Thank you for tuning in. Thank you.
Appreciate your time. See ya.
Once again, thank you for listening, and we hope you enjoyed that podcast. You can find it on Spotify, SoundCloud, YouTube, and now Apple Podcasts at Community Proud Podcast. Once again, follow us on Instagram and Facebook. Anytime you like, share, or post anything about us, we will tag you because we appreciate it so much. Our only marketing besides our social media is word of mouth, and when you share, it does so much for our podcast. Also follow our guest at Kendel Rodriguez on Instagram at iKendel. And once again, thank you for listening. Hope you have a wonderful day.